Hello, welcome back to another edition of our Simpsons season review. If you haven't seen any of our other videos on this channel, feel free and go and check them out. In this video, we move on to Season 2, Episode 20, The War of The Simpsons. And this episode first aired on May the 2nd of 1991. Now, the episode title is based on the 1989 film The War of the Roses, which was produced by Gracie Films and also starred Dan Castellaneta. That's just a bit of a brief bit about the episode title, basically. Now move on.
The viewing figures for this episode, as I said in the previous one, the viewing figures for that one were the lowest, so there is an increase in this one. It's back up, it's up at 19.7 million viewers for this one.
Like we said, the earlier Simpsons had decent viewing figures. Yeah, we saw a bit of declining through the episodes, but they're still decent.
Yeah, it's still a sort of steady sort of flow of the figures. And basically, the main storyline for this one...
Homer and Marge, marital problems yet again.
Yeah. And then the secondary storyline is Grandpa looking after the kids while they're at the marriage retreat.
Episode starts, Marge and Homer having a party for their friends, and Marge said it's the first party they've had.
Even though Homer, being the stupid person that he is, thinks that the wedding they had was a party.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
The kids are
shoved upstairs.
Yeah, because it's an adult party.
Exactly. Homer literally embarrasses himself. He gets drunk. He has an argument with a guy at the party saying that he wants to quit his job. The guy said he doesn't even work at his company.
Yeah, and his wife and Marge are friends, and the fact he only met Homer a couple of hours ago. Homer just goes, okay, and I won't quit.
Yeah, because the guy did eventually say, oh, don't quit.
Yeah.
Then eventually, after Homer does more embarrassing moments, he embarrasses himself worst of all, which causes the marital problem. Maud Flanders.
Yeah, basically asks us to get some peanuts from the bowl, but then asks us to get the ones at the bottom. So he then takes the opportunity to then look at her cleavage. But this obviously annoys Marge anyway. He's been annoying her all night with the drunken antics, and this is the one that sends him over the top.
Especially with the ice and the fly prank, which Dr. Hibbert didn't find amusing either.
Yeah, he was like, should have really used a real fly and not basically a fake one.
Eventually, they're all leaving, and Dr. Hibbert says...
If you want
Marge,
him to live through the night, turn onto his side.
Then
but
he
then
goes,
it's like,
if.
And then basically Homer spends the entire night on the floor at the bottom of the stairs.
Yep.
Marge wakes him up the next morning by hoovering into his head.
Yeah, and goes to the car, thinking the kids don't realise they're going to be arguing, but Lisa makes a comment to say, yeah, they're arguing again.
Yeah, because they always recognise the music.
Yeah. Homer still doesn't get why Marge is annoyed.
Well, he sort of goes off into his own little tangent. I don't know whether that's him being that drunk from the night before that he doesn't remember, and his mind is coming up with a new story, or he's just blatantly trying to come up with a new story to mask the fact that
I think it's just him.
But he starts off like he was having one of these parties where he's being so eloquent and making funny jokes with people, and how people appreciated the fly and the ice cube joke, but then it slowly morphs round into the drunken antics and the looking down Maud's cleavage.
That's when Marge eventually says, I'm going to church on my own today, and you can stay home with Bart, to tell him...
And then explain why you scarred him for life, and then he's like, mentally. But yeah, Bart knows anyway when he's having the talk with him.
Yeah, because Bart said, Homer goes, hope you have not lost your respect.
I've got the same respect for you as I've always had.
Meaning he had no respect for him whatsoever.
And Homer being Homer just thinks, he's still got respect for me. But Homer doesn't listen anyway in the end. He goes to church.
Yeah. Not to the disgust of a few of the people at the church. Especially Maud.
Well, he gets I say eye contact. He sort of looks at Maud in the same direction that he was the previous night, and obviously this puts her off. But he's making so much noise that Reverend Lovejoy decides he's just going to halt the sermon until Homer's actually found a seat, which is a couple of spaces down from Marge. He's trying to get the attention from her. Marge having none of it because she's still annoyed. And then we find out that Reverend Lovejoy has a marriage guidance retreat.
Yeah.
He even asks Homer, will he be attending? Homer's like, oh no, I don't need. Basically trying to make out. Was he trying to make out that he didn't need to go, or that he didn't want to go?
I didn't need to. I didn't want to.
But then in the end, Marge signs them up, even though Homer's annoyed at it at first.
But then he's a bit happier when he knows there's a lake where he can fish. Catfish lake where you can fish.
Even though he explains this to Bart, obviously making his intentions clear that he's going for the fishing, Marge then basically overhears and has a go at him, saying that they're not going for the fishing, they're going to save their marriage. And then it basically leads to the babysitter turning up.
Yeah.
Who doesn't run her as soon as she realises who she's going to be looking after. But it's like, well, surely would the babysitting company not have actually given the Simpsons name? But then again, from the first series, they've been banned from baby.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So it's like this makes no sense in two different ways. So basically, we then set up the second storyline.
The last resort to look after the kids. Grandpa.
Just the fact it's the way it's set up. Marge goes, Grandpa, can you do something? I can dress myself. And then she just like, oh no, I need you to look after the kids. And after he goes off and changes, oh I see, Grandpa, last resort.
Then he goes, oh I'll do it.
Okay, I'll do it. And then basically, before they leave, Marge leaves a list for Grandpa of what numbers to ring in case anything happens to the kids. And then before she goes, she gives a number. It's like, ring this number if Grandpa falls into the tub.
Yeah.
And he hears that for some reason, even though he's normally deaf.
Exactly, yeah.
But then once he leaves, Bart then miraculously comes up with another list that Marge forgot to give Grandpa.
And Grandpa falls for it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fucking, what was it? Drinking coffee and ice cream and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, so basically, Homer and Marge end up at the retreat. Literally 3 couples as Reverend Lovejoy goes.
But before that, though, before you get there, Homer said he runs out of gas, goes into a local
the bait shop,
and chats to the guy, and he goes, yeah, any fishing spots? Oh, you're after General Sherman. And he don't know who he is at the first until he goes, yeah, this catfish, which no one's caught. Someone's come close. Did he say he weighs about 500 pounds?
That might be a little bit later on in
the
story.
Later, yeah, that's later in the story.
But yeah, he puts it across, never being caught, so Homer's like, I'm going to catch General Sherman. And even the guy behind the counter's like, alright, really?
Yeah, not thinking about his marriage, like.
Well, I haven't been thinking about it full stop since the beginning of the episode. But yeah, as we say, get to the retreat, and then it ends up 3 couples at the retreat. A couple we've never even met before.
No, we haven't met.
And not since. Homer and Marge, and then surprisingly Ned and Maud.
Yeah.
Just fine-tuning the marriage. In other words, it's because Reverend Lovejoy's doing something, and
exactly.
Ned's obviously wouldn't say in fact. I don't think he fancies Reverend Lovejoy, but he needs to be around him all the time or speaking to him all the time. So
yeah,
it looks like it could be a little bit of a con job on Ned's point to be close to Reverend Lovejoy.
Yeah, a bit of an obsession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, this first couple that we never met before, once we start talking about the problems, literally within 30 seconds, they go from talking about the problems to
be happy again.
Being happy and going off. It's like, well, okay, that's a bit weird. But then when they get on to Homer and Marge, it's like, oh, talk about...
But he mentioned Ned's first, didn't he?
Yeah, what?
Ned's was about the Bible, weren't it?
Oh, yeah, sometimes she underlines passages in my Bible.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thank God you don't have guns.
Yeah.
So that's so supportive.
Yeah, then you get to Marge and Homer, where Marge bores everyone to tears.
Well, firstly, it's set up by, it's like... Homer goes on about his. I think Marge wants to speak firstly, but then Reverend does.
Oh, that's right.
Let Homer speak firstly. Then he's like, she's perfect. It's like, no, come on, Homer. It's like, oh, some of the things she does can be annoying. Marge does a normal And then Reverend Lovejoy's like, no, let him finish. And Homer's like, yeah, I'm done. Like, annoying things. Sometimes things it's like... And then, yeah, like you were alluding to there, Marge goes on, and literally it seems like hours and hours and hours of stuff that he does wrong, to the point where but by the time she's finished, Reverend Lovejoy's like, yeah, let's just call it a night.
Yeah.
They've clearly been there all night just talking about Homer. So I'll be surprised I'm not bored of Homer by this point.
And then next scene, I think, is... Well, the next part of Homer is when he wakes up early. He wants to think about catching General Sherman, eating him, then getting back into bed.
Yeah, he wants to try and get it all done before Marge wakes up.
Marge notices and sees Homer getting ready. He goes, you after that fish? You going to go fishing?
Yeah, so after she's had a go at him for this, Homer then agrees he won't do it, but then he asks if he can go for a walk just to clear his head, which she agrees to. This leads to Homer getting to the pier and finding some guy's rod by his boat. He grabs hold of it and then gets dragged out to sea by General Sherman.
Yeah.
Leads him being dragged all over the lake. At this point, Marge wakes up, realises he's not come back to bed, looks out the window and sees him out the window, so obviously she jumps to the conclusion that he's broke the promise.
Then going back to the house with Bart and Lisa and Grandpa, Bart throws...
he organises a party.
Organises a party. I presume it's Bart. Lisa didn't have anything to do with it.
No, it is Bart that makes the movie.
Bart,
Lisa
party.
doing anything.
The house is a mess. Grandpa was in the bathroom. He sees it, closes back the door, and then eventually you see him go downstairs where Nelson
sets fire to his slippers. He says, "Do you want me to take my belt off too?" He does. So he does that, and his pants fall down.
Yeah.
As you say, by this point, kids, Otto's flipping, the place just gets completely wrecked.
And when it finishes, Bart thanking everyone to go.
Nelson nicks one of Homer's ties.
And then you see Grandpa crying on the sofa.
Bart suddenly starts feeling guilty, and then between him, Lisa and Maggie, they just start cleaning the entire house from top to bottom. And while they're doing this, Homer's still fighting General Sherman.
Yeah.
Which eventually leads to him capturing him, going back to shore where Marge is waiting for him. She has yet another go at him about the fact he decided to go fishing, even though they were there to save the marriage. In the end, Homer chucks General Sherman back into the lake, and then follows up by basically doing a speech about how Marge believes their marriage is in trouble, going he spent hours and hours and hours fighting to catch this fish, and after one word from Marge, he throws it back in, and the conclusion he comes to, it's like, well, our marriage is in trouble. Basically, I did something you told me to do straight away, whereby I could have just claimed glory for catching the fish. So yeah, this basically gets them back on track again. And basically we get back to the house. The dying embers of Homer and Marge coming back to the house. Bart, Lisa and Maggie's final little bits of cleaning up. Basically, they get done just in time for Homer and Marge getting back. At this point, Marge remarks how clean the house is and asks Grandpa what his secret is. And that's when he finally
pretending
reveals
to cry. It worked.
Yeah, and Bart's flabbergasted. But then he's like, I'll never disrespect old people again, sort of thing. And yeah, basically
That's the
episode really.
Let's talk about a few of the references and bits about the episode in general. When Ned Flanders is making drinks at the Simpsons party, much of the flashy ways he is seen preparing the cocktails is similar to Tom Cruise's bartending stunts in the 1988 film Cocktail, if you've ever seen that. And the music in the scene where an infant Bart chases his teenage babysitter with the car is similar to the scene from the score from The Omen. The Omen film, if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Any other bits?
Homer's false memory of the party. That's a reference to the Algonquin Round Table, a group of New York City writers, critics, actors and wits. The guest and the party and the way they are drawn resembles Al Hirschfield's cartoon of the group, as his drawings were always in black and white. The colour scheme is borrowed from the covers for the New Yorker.
Yep, and John and Gloria bear a strong resemblance to George and Martha from Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Yep. Also, Homer's marathon attempt at catching General Sherman, his bludgeoning of the fish, and the line, "I love you but I have to kill you," are all based on Santiago's fight with the marlin in Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea.
Yep, that's another one. Homer sings "We Are the Champions," which is obviously sung by Queen, after he finally catches General Sherman, although he butchers the lyrics by singing "I Am the Champions," in which he fails to singleize the lyrics in order to describe only himself. Again, obviously, that's a Homer thing to do, yeah.
Also, the picture of General Sherman in the service station, that's a reference to the famous hoax picture of the Loch Ness Monster.
Exactly. I noticed that myself, to be honest. Grandpa sings "Over There," a popular song during the First World War when getting out of the shower.
Yep. And then just to finish off with this, other songs that are played during the episode include Tom Jones's "It's Not Unusual," Dusty Springfield's "The Look of Love," Casey and the Sunshine Band's "That's the Way I Like It," and finally Jared Tapinio's "Mexican Hat Dance."
Ah, yeah. Also, this marks the first appearance of Steak Jailbird.
So yeah, debut character for the episode.
Yeah, debut character. Also, the family from Mr. Burns' picnic in There's No Disgrace Like Home is seen again in church in front of Marge. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, I paused it and I did notice them.
Yeah, so basically just a way of filling the church out a bit.
Yep, any others?
Yeah, also in the church, when Maud sees Homer looking for Marge, she hastily checks to make sure her blouse is fully buttoned. Obviously, like we say, just a call back to what happened at the party the previous night. And also, Gloria and John are voiced by Julie Kavanaugh and Dan Castellaneta, making it a rare time where they voice the character couple other than Homer and Marge. Also, Kavanagh's role of Gloria is one of the few times she's voiced a character other than Marge or one of the women of the Bouvier family. Because yeah, if you listen to the Bouvier family, you can clearly tell that they all sound like Marge anyway.
Yeah, they do.
So
yeah.
She didn't really make much of an effort to really change up the voices, basically.
No. Also, Marge urges Homer to go easy on the alcohol. The last time she used that term, she was halfway in the bag herself and performed similar embarrassing drunken revelry at Mr. Burns' picnic in There's No Disgrace Like Home. So, in a sense, she's a bit of a hypocrite in that sense, which she's done embarrassing moments to disgrace the family, just like Homer.
Yeah. Also, another couple of characters that are reused in this episode, Sydney and Tanya from Bart the Genius. They appear at Bart's party.
Yeah. And last but not least, Barney talks to Patty and Selma at the party, stating he remembers them. Barney went on a date with Selma, which was interrupted by Patty and Principal Charming.
Yeah.
I don't think they recognised him, did they? Didn't seem like it to me.
Nah, basically they just went straight to macing him, or he believed it was mace. But again, with it being the same series, it all depends on what block the episodes are made.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So possibly this one was done at a slightly earlier time than that one. So
yeah, maybe.
But yeah.
Let's go with the positive and negatives. So let's start with the negatives. Homer and Marge-esque again.
Yeah.
And what I hated most about that is how Marge just forgives him yet again for just getting rid of the fish. And
defeats the whole object of it, because she was annoyed at his drunken antics and the fact he was leering at Maud Flanders.
Exactly. And all the problems she was saying at the retreat about Homer
just basically disappear from him throwing a fish back in the lake, even though that was only... She only had a go at him about it towards the end of the episode. That wasn't the main problem that she was having with him.
Yeah, but when she was in the meeting, counselling, all the lists she was saying about Homer's bad points, forgetting birthdays, only caring about himself, going to Moe's, getting drunk, she still forgives him for the simplest of things.
She basically watched cut. She threw it all into one basket by the fact of, we thought of someone else other than himself when he threw it back in the lake.
Yeah.
But again, as we said previously, storylines revolving around Homer and Marge's marriage aren't exactly one of our highlights of the show.
No.
Because they just use it too often in the show anyway.
Would you say Marge's a bit soft?
Well, she always keeps going back to Homer.
That's what I mean. She tried to be the strong one, but then eventually still goes back to him again. So Homer's got off the hook yet again.
And I can't really remember a time where they've had marriage problems where Marge has been the key problem for it to begin with. There may be times where they've had marriage problems and maybe...
There was a time in one of the episodes where she said on the radio, didn't she? She's sick of her marriage, the way...
Yeah, but then again...
Right, but then
again, that was because Homer was treating her... Not badly, but he wasn't giving her the attention that she wanted. So, in effect, it was still his fault there. I mean, there may be an episode where Marge has caused...
If you can think of an episode, just, let us know.
Yeah. Other negative, the way Bart and Lisa treat Grandpa. Yeah,
that is trying to make him like an old fool. An old fool. Yeah, that could be a negative.
I mean...
Taking advantage of him.
Yeah, I mean, another thing that we missed out from the episode, they're watching another McBain clip.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, it's getting late. In the time of bed, and Bart goes, yeah, you should go to bed, it's been a long day. And he goes to bed anyway, even though he's supposed to be the adult. And just the fact, making him believe that Marge lets him drink coffee, eat gallons of ice cream, and just all this stuff. It's just like, it is just basically taking advantage of an elderly person.
That is a big negative.
Other than that, maybe a negative in the case of Ned Flanders going to this marriage guidance retreat.
Yeah, he doesn't need to go. His marriage is fine.
It's like we said in the review, it's like, is he basically infatuated with Reverend Lovejoy, so he goes along just so he can be close to Reverend Lovejoy? Like we say, him and Maud haven't got any problems, and...
Well, he's obsessed with the Bible and everything, so I'm Reverend Lovejoy, it seems.
I mean, obviously, they've had clips in other episodes where it's like, oh, he believes he's had arguments with Maud, but it's just been something small that a normal couple wouldn't consider a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a small negative there. Any other negatives?
I think that's it, to be honest. Or could you say a negative, Homer going after Maud and Ned not doing anything?
Well,
then again, it's Homer. Ned wouldn't do anything, would he?
Yeah, that just falls into the typical Homer being Homer and Ned not wanting to think the worst unless he's really pushed.
Yeah.
Positives then?
Yeah, positive is Grandpa at the end, getting his own back on the kids, which I liked. There's still life in the old dog, as they say. Pretending to cry, I liked it. It made the episode.
A different way. Well, a completely different way of getting Bart to do something, as opposed to Marge's body coddling and hoping he does something, or Homer occasionally having a go at him, or Marge sometimes having a go at him. Just a case of, like you say, just break down in tears, and bang, you're there.
Yeah. It worked well.
It definitely worked well there.
No, not to be messed with.
Other positives?
I couldn't say Homer and Marge were positive at the end, could you? Do you reckon?
Maybe for other people who watch it who, like, as I say, we just put down the whole thing as a negative because for us personally, we just don't like it. maybe you might view the fact they reconsoled the fact that Homer actually listens to Marge and throws this fish back that he's been trying to catch for hours upon end.
Maybe you have a different view to us, different opinion.
So, being trying to be unbiased with it, that can be seen as a positive in some people's eyes. The fact that, they got the marriage back on track because Homer actually finally listened to her. But yeah, any other positives?
Well, the main positive was Grandpa, in my opinion, of the episode.
Yeah, because to be fair, well, he took what could have been just a small storyline and made it quite a good ending sort of thing.
I did like the episode where a lot of the characters did have a part to play.
Yeah, to be fair, you got your main stories, but then, you get Reverend Lovejoy with both the church and marriage guidance. Dr. Hibbert giving his medical opinion on the flying the ice cube. The way Maud is used to set up the whole problems.
You have Bart and Lisa and Grandpa having a good part to play.
Then the kids also, like say, Steak. I mean,
Exactly.
Steak is another iconic character.
He is.
Whose storyline has not really been hit on. But he's a positive to have in it. He's already a fun character to see. So this one is one of these episodes where a lot more characters start to get even just small parts. So I think we're starting to see the Simpsons sort of branch out into more supporting characters sort of thing. So they're starting to set up ready for the next couple of seasons. Because obviously by this point we've had Krusty and Skinner getting sort of their own stories.
Yeah.
But I think you probably say this is maybe not the first episode, but one of the earliest episodes where it sets up the fact that you can get all the other characters having their own separate storylines or having more of a bigger part coming forward. So a good positive point there, giving more screen time to more characters.
Yeah, 'cause it's always a good thing.
Yeah, and it not just being focused on the main family or the grandpas and the Sanders parties. Any other positives?
I think that's it. To be honest, I think in my opinion, it's a positive episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah. One of the more positive that they've had, because obviously there was a period where the episodes did seem to go in a run of negative.
Yeah.
So they've got it up to a positive going towards because we're in the final stretch now of the series.
Yeah, we are. I think that's it with the episode. If we've missed anything, or you want to comment about a negative and a positive which you feel you want to add, put the comment down below.
Like, share, subscribe.
And we'll see you in the next video.